It's time for our political panel, our young political panel, our political panel of the future. Joining me this morning, Jonathan Gibson, who is a political commentator. He has no political affiliation. And also joining him is Reem Ibrahim, who is a political commentator aligned to the Conservative Party. Good morning to you, chaps.
Good morning. How are you?
Well, I'm very sad you're not both here, but obviously you couldn't be bothered to come in this morning.
Too early for us. We're young.
That's true.
Oh, yes, you're having a lie-in, aren't you? That's what young people do. Right, should we start talking about where we are in the Conservative leadership race? I thought this was really interesting. From Liz Truss. The fact is, she said that she wants to bring in radical reforms to stop doctors leaving the profession early. We know that 10% of GPs and consultants are planning to leave in the next 18 months. Renee and I have been talking about this all morning. The fact is, we believe that something like 19,000 will leave in the next 5 years. Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak have been in government. What have they been doing, Jonathan?
I don't know, but certainly the crisis is really, really serious. I mean, the backlog is causing up to 1,000 excess deaths a week. That's more than people that were being killed by COVID. This is really, really significant. And as you said, 10% of consultants are expected to retire, and the pension system seems incredibly broken. This is also according to Dr. Groupbridge, who's the chair of the BMA, who says it's within the government's capacity to stem this sort of exodus of experienced doctors from the NHS. And we need to end the punitive pension taxation and implement some decent working conditions and flexibility rather than the excessive hoops they have to jump through, such as, for example, when going back to work after being retired, they have to go through numerous qualifications and tests in order to get re-implemented. And it's meant at a time where we really need more doctors and more nurses, it's a real struggle to bring them into the workforce.
Well, it's a nonsense, and I know this from my own experience. I offered to go back in. There were 21 pages of forms you had to fill out, including whether you'd been on an anti-terrorism course organised by Prevent. What on earth has that got to do with treating patients, Reem?
No, absolutely. I think it's so silly. This is a waste of taxpayer money, and it really just goes to show how much we spend within our bureaucracy and within the NHS. I mean, I think now waiting lists are a record high of 6.7 million. I think it's just so ridiculous. And I have to admit to you, Dave, that I think that this made me like Liz Truss even more. At least she's able to have this honest conversation and really explain to us that actually the NHS isn't working. We've got a massive backlog, and we have to actually do something about it.
Well, we really do. And Jonathan, obviously you're undecided how you might vote. Now we're looking at those two. We're now seeing really very big differences, I think, between Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss. I mean, interestingly, Rishi Sunak now painting himself as the underdog, trying to appeal to people because, of course, being British, we like an underdog. So will that work?
I mean, I definitely think he is the underdog, and underdog is the understatement. As a sense, Liz Truss has been clearly leading for some time, between 22 and 38 points ahead, and the most recent lead is 32 points, so it seems very unlikely that Rishi is going to be closing the gap. And it's been an incredibly drawn-out and long process, long procedure, something that's not just hitting individuals, but also the Tory party as a whole, I think. And so I think it's a real struggle. And also the country, in a sense, there's been the current course of action seems to be inaction at the moment, and we need someone to take the reins and take the role of leadership. And I definitely commend Liz Truss, in a sense, particularly for her current policies posited over COVID. I think there's other solutions as well that could be implemented in a longer term. So, for example, it's just been A-level results day. I know several people that have got straight A stars, not got a single place at any medical school. It's incredibly difficult to gain access to places in medical school, and even with the very top grades that you can possibly get. And at a time where there's, again, massive shortages, doctors are so necessary to our country, to our workforce. Why is this the case? Why can we not provide the accessible resources necessary for those wanting to go into that profession?